All right, we are live. Sensei Chat coming to you from Honolulu, Hawaii. Man, as you can see, I am wearing my ETH to the Moon shirt. You probably won't ever see me wear this in public, but today's chat is all about we're going to talk about Ethereum projects that I think are going to do well in this next run. I've shared these projects inside of Cryptonairz several days ago, and since then, some of these projects have done pretty well. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to look at some gaming and AI crypto projects. I got some clips from DC Fintech Week, Ripple, Swell information. We're going to look at Casper Labs, some updates coming out of Casper and what they're working on. Hedera, Delium has a new white paper. There's just so much to get through. So let's go ahead and jump into this. It's great to see everybody here. Let me go ahead and pop this chat out so I can talk to you guys while I'm doing this chat. Great to see Clark. Good to see you, Clark. First one here. MMT, always a pleasure. Ariana, nice to see you, darling. Let's see who else is here. Kwame, nice to see you, Kwame. Valtari, nice to see you as well. ZKB, what's up? What's up? Also, I wanted to share one thing with you guys. Let me just open up the chat real quick here on YouTube. A lot of people kind of want to get an eye into what's happening inside of Cryptonairz behind the paywall, and sometimes people don't want to go ahead and pay the upfront cost. They kind of want maybe a free trial. So we've rolled out a 7-day free trial for Cryptonairz. We have a great team. We have an even better community. I couldn't do any of the stuff that I do without the support of the community, and my heart goes out to them all the time. They are always working behind the scenes. We're sharing information. We're growing together, and it's just been an honor these last couple of years to grow in the crypto space with everyone. So let me go ahead and post this link here for you guys. If you want to try out Cryptonairz for 7 days for free, check out the chat. That will get you Tom from Ireland. What's up, Tom? That will get you over to WAP, which is another marketplace that we use, and come into the community, talk with the community, take a look at the channel, see the information that we provide, and judge for yourself if you want to stay a member, because I think it's worth it. I put my heart and soul into the community, and so does the team, so does the community, and so hey. All right, so let's start with DC Fintech Week. I wasn't able to do a chat on Friday. I had a couple prior engagements, and then I had a procedure yesterday on my leg, so I've been kind of down and out the last couple days, but let's go ahead and catch up, because there's some interesting things that happened at DC Fintech Week. Nayli Liang is the Undersecretary of Domestic Finance for the U.S. Treasury, and so I was like, man, I wonder what that means. So I asked Bard what this rank, what it means. So let's understand who this person is that's talking and understand their roles, and then we'll listen to this clip. So Undersecretary of Domestic Finance is a high-ranking position in the United States Department of the Treasury that reports and advises and assists to the Secretary of Treasury and the Deputy Secretary of Treasury. And then these are overseeing the development and implementation of domestic fiscal policy, oversight of the Treasury Department's offices, and deal with financial institutions, financial markets, and financial service, advising the Secretary of the Treasury on a wide range of economics. So this is the person, Nayli Liang, and this is who's going to be talking right here. So let's go ahead and play this. It's going to be about DLT. It's going to be about CBDCs, and it's a 3-minute 18 clip. Let's go ahead and play this, and I'll greet everybody in the chat while I'm playing this.
Really taking a leadership role in kind of thinking through both the stablecoin and CBDC issues. I'll just sort of break them into one of two, so I have a little bit of time. So, from a CBDC standpoint, have you learned or thought about, or as your thinking sort of evolved a little bit about CBDCs? You're talking about internationally, a lot of your counterparts and others are kind of vocal on that issue.
Right. So I think innovation, the whole theme of financial innovation and payments is, that's just an active area. So whether it's 2 years ago or this year or, coming, I don't think this is an area we'll stay active in. I think broadly our approach to that has been the same. What need is it filling, this new technology? Can we govern it? Can we manage the risks? So I think for the CBDC, and this is more a central bank, not Treasury decision. It's a liability of the central bank, so it'll be their decision to make whether they would want to issue it. I think there's been interest within the global central bank world of wholesale, how it meets
Okay, really quickly, I just want to touch on this real quick. Wholesale, you're always going to get a wholesale CBDC before you get a retail one. Wholesale is between central bank, and institutions behind the scene. Retail is for people like me and you and businesses, all right? I just want to get, sometimes people are new to crypto and they don't know the difference between a wholesale CBDC and a retail CBDC. Normally, you're always going to see a wholesale version first because that is what the government's going to want to use to move value for cheaply, right? Okay.
The needs for better, more efficient settlements. And there feels like there's a need there, and I think there's a lot of experimentation going on in terms of across banks, central banks, in how to do this. And I think that's being involved in the design and experimentation and setting up the standards and requirements seems like a good place to be. The report that we wrote 2 years ago on stablecoins was about if the private sector wants to create a payment mechanism, this is what the regulatory framework should look like. It is payments, so my view is that should be within the federal regulatory system. And it should make sure that if it offers $1, it should be able to be redeemed at $1. And so there's a set of regulations we would propose, and we still very strongly encourage legislation on this. We think that there is a gap in this case. But more broadly speaking, like this whole technology, the crypto technology, it's hard to say, I don't know where you are on this these days, like what the future of unbacked crypto or even stable coins is in the future system. But the distributed ledger technology and the shared ledgers, the potential for that to bring efficiencies to payment and settlement seem pretty like high potential. And I think that's an area we want to be thinking about how to, promote, allow for the benefits of that, allow private sector to innovate there, and still manage the risks of such an important function for the economy, right? So that's where we've been on that.
All right, so what does this clip tell me? If you listen to this clip, it tells us that the U.S. government has been researching. They've been researching CBDCs. They don't quite yet know what a CBDC will look like in the U.S. There's Project Cedar and Project Ubin. They've definitely been testing this in the background. You have the New York Fed, a couple other feds. I think the San Francisco Fed was also working on some research for CBDCs. So we do know that it's probably going to happen in the future, but it's not going to happen right now in 2023. It's not going to probably happen in 2024. You're probably looking 2025, 2026 realistically for CBDCs to start rolling out of the test phase and into the development and actually built and use phase. So, I see a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people just kind of promising, CBDCs are going to get here. They're all going to launch, this year or early next year. I just don't see it when I listen to clips like this, especially from people high up in the Treasury, in the U.S. government that are working behind the scenes. Now, the U.S. is pretty far behind when you're looking at countries like the European Union. They have the MiCA. You have the U.K., which is the Market Infrastructure Bill. You have Singapore, Switzerland, Dubai. These are all countries that have really gone out of their way to work with companies and help bring those companies to develop and build in their countries. The United States still can't get their stuff figured out. So the U.S. is still pretty ways away on this. And I did a video on this. The IOSCO is a board of organizations. They represent 95% of the world's securities markets. They came together recently. You have like the U.S. If I just kind of scroll in here, the United States of America. You have the, what is that? I can't read that. But you have the CFTC here. You have the United Kingdom. You have Switzerland. You have Sweden. You have Spain. All of these countries are coming together to try to set common policy so that money and value can flow across borders. And that is very, very important, okay? This is actually interesting. This is from T-Spot Crypto. I was actually in one of his spaces the other day, and this guy's knowledge is just truly incredible. I wanted to give him a big shout out, but check this out. So this is a gentleman from PolySign. McDonald, and then this is the guy from Link2. This is a 2-minute clip. I'm going to go ahead and play this, and we'll talk a little bit about this. But this clip says, want to know when XRP moons? There's no date in here, of course not, but let's play this, and we'll talk about it.
Number one, what are your projections or hopes on the future of crypto regulations, both here in the US and internationally, and how might these potential regulatory shifts impact the broader crypto industry and PolySign's direction?
So a lot going on in that question. I think undoubtedly, when I think about regulation and regulatory clarity specifically, it's really, I think, going to be a catalyst for institutions coming into the space. And a lot of the regulation that exists in other asset classes protect both retail investors as well as institutions. And obviously crypto currently is really more of a retail-driven market, and the institutions, I think there is a lot of pent-up demand, but they're not going to move until we get some regulatory clarity. There's a whole regulatory arbitrage going on globally right now, where rest of world, particularly in certain pockets, we're seeing a lot of advancement in the UK. We're seeing a lot in Singapore, in the UAE, even Hong Kong, more recently Switzerland, fairly advanced in terms of embracing digital assets, not just crypto, but digital assets, where the US has a lot of catching up to do if we're going to continue to spur innovation and really allow institutions here in the US to adopt digital assets and crypto. There's been some recent big wins. I'm going to be talking to Brad Garlinghouse later today about the Ripple wins. Coinbase seems to be making really good progress. Grayscale has definitely had some favorable wins in the courts. And so hopefully we're starting to chip away at that. And I think some of the guidance out of the SEC around the safeguarding rule, which specifically impacts custody, while there are some drawbacks and aspects to it that I think are untenable and unrealistic, the foundational premise of what they said in these proposed, operative word, rules really allow RIAs to invest into crypto so long as they do it with qualified custodians. And so, the headline, we like. Some of the tenets of it, we and others in the industry, I think, are looking to potentially rework or change there. But I think net, the U.S. is behind. We need to catch up in terms of offering some regulation, and I have seen some positive signals of late.
He's seen some positive signals of late. We'll have to see how that goes. I mean, I've heard this time and time again. We've seen some positive signals, but nothing has yet happened. When updates do happen with the U.S. and regulation, I will be screaming it from the rooftops, believe me. I wanted to go ahead and just talk a little bit about Biometric Financial. I talk about this a lot in my community, and there's a reason why. BioFi, if you would have just been in Sensei Chats maybe a month and a bit ago, you would have rode this wave up with us, guys. I mean, check this out. We went from 0.0, what is that? Is that 4 zeros or 3 zeros? I can't, hold on, let me scroll in here. My eyes are getting messed up. All right, it looks like 0.0001779, and now it's all the way at 0.00442. So if you were to rode this wave up, guys, in the last month, you'd be up 127%. All right, cool. Just wanted to point that out. Some things you might be missing. Also, one of our great members, George, actually posted this in Ultra Bull Chat on the 1st of November. And this is when he posted it right here, November 1st. And this is where it is today. This project is called Synverse. And this project has gone up 208% in the past 11 days. Okay, so just more value that if people that are paying attention in the Discord, they find gems, and their gems are shared, and people make some money. So good for them. Also, guys, I did a video about this Brad Garlinghouse DC FinTech Week interview. This is a pretty good interview. It's about 22 minutes long. I'm not going to play all these clips from the interview because I did do a video on my YouTube about this. The biggest thing I took from this video is that the SEC and Ripple have not yet come to an agreement on a settlement. That is fact, because Brad Garlinghouse talks about he's got to go to Swell, and he'd be happy to come back from Swell and meet with Gary Gensler to discuss terms. So if you're seeing any comments about a settlement and it's already been done, Brad Garlinghouse is out here on DC FinTech Week and at Swell talking about they have not reached a settlement yet. So I just want to, a lot of people get signals crossed. A lot of people post things to get clicks and different stuff. I just want to be upfront. I don't yet think there is a settlement. So I just want to thank 801 XRP for posting this. Please check out my YouTube video about this, and I'll get into kind of all the details and what I think is going to happen with that. All right, HSBC press release from, this is Chad Steingraber. This is about announcing HSBC's new digital assets custody service. HSBC announced today, this is from the 8th of November, HSBC announced today it plans to launch a new digital assets custody service for institutional clients who invest in tokenized securities. Once live in 2024, HSBC's new digital asset custody service will complement HSBC's Orion, the banking platform for issuing digital assets, as well as HSBC's recently launched offering for tokenized physical gold. Okay. As you can see down here, it looks like they are going to be partnering with Medico on some of this stuff. So this is going to be interesting to see how all of this rolls out. But HSBC has been a long time Ripple customer, and I've shown a lot of documents in the past to kind of connect those two together. And here they are working with Medico and for digital asset custody. So this is really big, guys. We know this is the way banks want to go. Banks look at Coinbase and they're like, wow, Coinbase has made how much money this year? And so banks want a piece of that. And this is the way that they're going to get a piece of it, right? Banks need a place that they can custody digital assets because they're still waiting for some Basel reforms. You're still waiting for things to, you know, kind of settle for regulation around the globe. And banks need a place to store digital assets as well as offer their institutional clients that have a ton of money places to store those assets. And so it does look like they're going to be working with Medico on this. And so that is really cool news. All right. So all right, there's two roads Ethereum is walking down right now. One of the roads is Ethereum's heading to all-time new highs, 8, 10. I've seen price quotes, not quotes, but price people guessing that the price for Ethereum could go to like $20,000 here in the next bull run. It can very well happen. But there's also this narrative building around Steven Nerayoff, and I'm going to play a couple clips later on in this Sensei chat that show that Steven Nerayoff's about to release some maybe damning information on Joseph Lubin and Vitalik Buterin, and I don't know what that is going to do to Ethereum, if anything. Okay, so I just want you all to be prepared. Part of being in crypto is knowing what's happening around you, preparing for the worst, and hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. Okay, and I'm going to show you some information a little bit later on to talk with you a little bit about this. I don't want to play this clip, but there might be a reckoning coming from for Joseph Lubin. All right, and Vitalik. So this is more information coming from Ripple. Introducing Ripple Payments, the next evolution of Ripple Payments product, delivering a licensed end-to-end solution for financial institutions, small to medium enterprises with 70 plus payout markets, expanded crypto liquidity options, integration, the XRP ledger, DEX, right? The XRP ledger has a decentralized exchange built into it. So, as Ripple expands into more and more payout markets, as they cover more of the FX globe, you really need to pay attention to that because one day banks are going to want to take full potential of this, right? And they're going to move a lot of money through something like on-demand liquidity or, Ripple, some type of Ripple services. So I just wanted to show you that. This is from John Reed Stark. The SEC just filed their opposition to Binance's motion to dismiss. The comprehensive pleading is powerful, compelling, and strongly supported in both fact and law. So I posted a video in Ultra Bull in the Cryptonairz Discord. I can't remember the channel that did the video. Let me just pull it up real quick so I can just show you. I want you guys, if you have money on Binance, I want you to watch this video right here. Let me just pull it in and I'll post it in the chat. I thought this was very well put together. Watch this video. If you have money sitting on Binance, watch that video because it is very, very powerful. And it kind of shows similarities to FTX. And CZ actually Binance does not have a corporate location where they work out of. CZ kind of, nobody really knows where CZ is most of the time. He's always kind of going in on Zoom calls. And as more and more issues come up around Binance globally, I think we need to have this conversation and at least be prepared for something to happen to Binance eventually, okay? Binance's chief compliance officer, crudely but scrutiny, summed up the case, admitted that Binance was operating a fucking unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. The people that work at Binance have a very interesting vocabulary. Defendants now seek to avoid their repercussions and their actions by asking the court to dismantle decades of fundamental or foundational precedent upon which the nation's securities laws operate. If it's in place, defendants would install a rigid framework that turns entirely on contract law and forms transactions take in clear contravention of Congress a broad, flexible regime, compatible for adaptation to meet the countless and variable schemes devised by those who seek to use money of others on promise of profit. So the BNB token is kind of built the same way the FTT token was, where you get a discount of trading fees on Binance, and they use portions of how much money is transacted on Binance, the profits, to buy back and burn the BNB token. So in essence, the BNB's token is really a security. It really doesn't have any value outside of that. So just be very clear, just be very cautious when you're in the BNB token. Obviously, nobody has a crystal ball what's going to happen. But if you watch that video on Binance, I think it'll open your eyes to some things. I even learned a few things in that video that I didn't know. So watch that video. It is really eye-opening, the similarities between Binance and FTX. I wanted to just show you guys that Delium actually has a new white paper that they just released. I wanted to, I'm not going to read the whole white paper to you, but this is one of my node projects that I've been talking about for quite some time. Delium actually has a AI powered open world framework. They're working on interesting AI tools and bots. Create your AI digital twins with Delium AI. I did apply for early access. I'm waiting to get access to this thing. They also have a chatbot, Lucy, that you can send transactions. You can create wallets. You can do all kinds of really cool things with this chatbot. And I do think Delium is going to be kind of one of these powerhouse projects that really hasn't had a ton of, it just launched recently. Let me just show you this real quick. Delium AGI. Here we go. So Delium is at just under 2 cents right now. It's actually only been on the market for about what is this, eight or 9 months. So it hasn't been on the market for too long. It's got an $8.5 million market cap, and I think Delium has a lot of potential in this market. So I just wanted to just put this in front of you. If you have never heard of this project, please do some research. I think this is really cool. They also have a really unique game that they've built basically the infrastructure for any other game developer to come in and build upon their game world or build their open game. And they have some interesting partners, obviously, and I think this could be a giant coming up in the next year or two. So just want to go ahead and put this on your radar, and let's move on. HSBC announced, right, Medico partnership. I just want to show you this is from actual Medico's site, so you don't think that, hey, it's not a real partnership. That the Medico's actually putting out the HSBC announcement here too, so that's pretty cool. Air Force Research Laboratory, who gives the gold stamp on approval. Constellation, guys, this is actually pretty cool. Let me play this. It's 3 minutes long. Constellation DAG is gearing up to do some monster moves in this next bull run, and you should be ready.
Finally went through a deep dive with Air Force Research Laboratory, who gives the gold stamp of approval on projects that either are vetted and are ready to be absorbed or get denied. And I was really happy to see that we were validated and approved as a secure and scalable blockchain that is DoD ready. You don't get any bigger validation than that. It doesn't matter what company we work with in the commercial space, you're not going to get a bigger stamp of approval. And this opened up the door to many opportunities from this meeting that we had this week. And so people that were in the audience included the CTO and COO of every major airline in America. These are all the Civil Reserve Air Fleet partners. Our partner that is in the craft stood up on stage before I presented, endorsing this project, saying that this is no longer a nice to have, this is mission critical, that there's going to be pressure that's coming from these contractors to the DoD. And so I know that people had seen Telegram asking a lot of questions about how DAG fits into all of this, and we're going to continue to demystify this as we move forward. But instead of bringing, as I said, the government to state channels, we have to bring state channels to the government. And they understand this, but they have to have this technology set up from a networking perspective internally to start to absorb those partners such as craft partners. And so if you think about that, this is largely their ability to deploy as many private blockchains as they want. That said, in order to tap into their network, you have to have state channels that validate and approve the data when onboarding contractors into their ecosystem. Now let that sink in. There's, I think, something like 50 or 60,000 government contractors in America. And if the DoD enforces this standard, which we're really pushing hard for, but it is going to take time, but everything's moving in that direction, it's going to be a really big deal for the public validation layer. So this is good news for everybody. And we will continue to explain all of these different entry points. I mean, when it comes down to solutions, CGI just won a hackathon last week. They built a connector for connecting a permissioned entity, so you have to be permissioned to enter a public blockchain, which means that these hybrid solutions are starting to peak up, where it's no longer, oh, are you permissionless or permission, but what's that hybrid where we can start to pass data back and forth. And so I'm not going to lie, I'm exhausted. It's been a big week for both of us, but this guy's hanging out with astronauts, and I felt like I was on the moon. So is there anything else you want to say, Altif?
No, not really.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we got a glass of champagne here to cheers not only each other, but you as a community, Constellation as a whole, and America, because I do believe that America should have this technology, because it's going to hold not only the craft partners in the contracting ecosystem accountable, but also the DoD. So we're
all right. That sounds cool. Let's see what else we got here. Final agreed accepted for the EU digital identity wallet. So before I play this, somebody asked what I think is going to happen on November 19th and 20th as ISO finally comes really into play for like Swift and JP Morgan and some of these companies. So I think it's going to be a slow burn. I don't think you're going to get a $100 XRP price on the 20th of November, or even a $50 price, guys. I think we're still in a speculation market, and until you really do have some of this more regulatory clarity, U.S. banks are still not going to use XRP. Brad Garlinghouse even said this in that speech that I kind of showed you from DC Fintech Week. He said that banks are still kind of waiting for all of this to pass, and so banks still want regulatory clarity in the U.S. I don't know what banks outside of the U.S. are going to want to do, but I do think it's going to be a slow burn, guys. And I know that's not probably what everybody wants to hear, but I'm really not here to kind of make you feel good about yourself. I'm really here to just give you my viewpoints and what I think from all the information that I take in personally from being on the computer 12, 14 hours a day, researching XRP and ISO and all this other stuff. I think it's going to be a slow burn. Just be prepared for it, okay? I'd love to be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you can throw it in my face, because I will be a much more rich person or have a lot more money if it does blow up. But I just think it's going to be a slow burn. All right, I'd love to be wrong, but I think it's going to be a slow burn. Okay, so this is actually interesting, right? And I think this is the wave of every country, not just the European Union, right? This is the EU DI wallet that allows users to carry digital identification, open up bank accounts, make payments, and they're gonna connect the CBDC to this eventually. Watch this. All right, I don't need to play this whole thing, but you guys kind of get it, right? And you're going to see this in other countries as well. This is the way that they're going to connect everyone. They're going to force people to kind of have these type of IDs. When you're traveling, your passport will probably be integrated with this. And I do imagine that this is going to be a global type of thing. Governments want data on people, and this is going to be an easier way for them to track. But this is also going to be an easier way for people to have all of their identification, vaccine records. I know that's not the best, the most people's favorite word, the V word, but all that stuff is going to be integrated into these type of things. All right, let me refresh these couple clips here, because Tom Emmer just kind of lit a fire under Gary Gensler's ass, and I want to play that clip here. Check this out. This is actually Tom Emmer. So Tom Emmer is the majority whip. Basically, he's in the Republican Party. He whips votes for Republicans to vote on specific bills. So he's kind of behind the scenes negotiating, kind of trying to get people to vote for certain bills. Okay. And he's made it his point of his life goal now to go after Gary Gensler. And I kind of like it. So let me play a little bit of this for you. I'm not gonna play the whole 4 minutes, but just listen to kind of what's happening here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Regulation by enforcement is a practice all too common with this administration. This is particularly the case at the SEC and Chair Gary Gensler's approach towards our capital markets and financial services industry, but especially with our emerging digital assets community. My amendment seeks to put an end to Chair Gensler's pattern of regulatory abuse, a pattern that is crushing American innovation and capital formation without undermining our ability to go after criminals and fraudsters. Specifically, my amendment prohibits the SEC from using funds for enforcement activities related to digital asset transactions until Congress passes legislation that gives the SEC jurisdiction over this asset class. This will keep Chair Gensler, who has proven himself to be ineffective and incompetent, in check while Congress continues working to give this industry a chance to grow and develop right here in the United States. Let's just look at the facts. Under Gensler's leadership, the SEC has pursued dozens of enforcement actions against the digital asset industry, despite never finalizing a single rule or regulation for the industry to follow. Chair Gensler refuses to provide the marketplace with clear criteria for digital assets that he would consider to be a security. How can this industry comply if there are no rules or guidelines to follow? On top of that, Chair Gensler has developed a track record of going after actors like Coinbase, a publicly traded company desperately trying to survive and innovate right here in the United States instead of going offshore like so many are forced to do. And Gensler has done this while missing bad actors like FTX and Terra Luna. At a time when clear guidance is desperately needed, Chair Gensler instead spends taxpayer resources praising himself for targeting celebrities like Kim Kardashian, while Sam Bankman-Fried was running a Ponzi scheme right under his nose. What's worse is the SEC doesn't even have jurisdiction from Congress over this asset class to begin with. Yet, the SEC has no shame in trying to expand their jurisdiction to swallow and destroy the digital assets industry through regulation by enforcement.
All right, you guys get it, right? Congress is really going after Gary Gensler, and I'm actually really excited because, like, this is a clip from Gary Gensler at DC FinTech Week. Listen to Gary. So Gary Gensler's like, we don't need digital assets in the United States. We have something like the Telegraph. Listen to this clip. It's a 45-second clip. Check this out.
One of your panelists talk about digital currency. We've had digital currency for a long time, you know. I mean, in essence, the first digital currency was in the 19th century when the telegraph started. But right now, if you go into Starbucks, you use digital currency. It's called dollar, yen, euro. He also said something about machine-to-machine rails. We do have that. It's sometimes costly. You might say there are gaps in it, and we have to use the payment rails that exist today, and Visa, MasterCard, and so forth.
He's smiling like he's proud of it, right? He's proud that people have to pay absorbent fees to use the broken, one-sided payment system that banking incumbents like JP Morgan, HSBC, all these banks make billions of dollars a year off of you because people like this that are in power do not want to push digital assets forward in certain countries. This is really a threat to everybody around. If you're not paying attention to this guy is one of the most scumbag type of government official I have ever seen. And I thought this guy was going to be really good since he taught crypto at MIT. I thought this guy was going to do really good things for the ecosystem. He is just pissed all over it, and I hope this guy gets what's coming to him. I hope he gets fired, and I hope he doesn't work in any type of banking or any type of high value position ever again, because his reputation is tarnished.
But we do have digital currency, and we humans actually like that
Yeah.
if it can be a bit more efficient and the like.
Yeah. And
one of your panelists.
Just embarrassing. This guy is so embarrassing. Gary Gensler sucks. Okay, let's keep it going. This is about the Bank of Russia plans to build a digital ruble settlement system with the central bank UAE. The first deputy chairman, this is actually in Russian, so I can't read it, but it says Bank of Russia Ogles. Oh, damn, I'm gonna butcher this. Olga nope, can't do it. Skorobogatavia. I probably got that real wrong. If you are Russian, please let me know how bad I got that. Said that the Russian regulator, together with the central bank of the UAE, is ready in a year to build a system of fast payments and settlements in digital rubles for citizens and businesses. We're going to work out fast payment system with CBDC. You know what's interesting? I have seen information that Russia's central bank did do some testing with XRP back in the day. And I know some people are going to say, well, how can they use XRP if they have sanctions? Well, XRP is an open source protocol that, you know, anybody can use. So Ripple, the company, is the one that built their banking software on top of the XRP ledger. I don't think they're going to be able to use Ripple, but if they wanted to build something on the XRP ledger, I don't see who could stop them. But I don't know what the technology is going to be behind this, but look out for something coming out of there. Understanding the shockwave this will create, HSBC just fired the starting gun. HSBC is but one, the 7th largest bank in the world with 2.9 trillion in assets. Just told that they're going to be taking on digital assets in Medico. So HSBC is just a long line of banks, guys, that are all getting or going to be or are in crypto right now. And this is really what's going to drive this new market that we're going to get into here in 2024, 2025 into 2026. This is going to be a bull market unlike anyone's ever seen before. So I'm really excited to take a look at this. Also, guys, I wanted to just point out that we do have a partnership with Carolina Keys TA Discord. If you actually are a Cryptonairz member, you actually get free membership in Carolina Keys TA Discord. And what I wanted to do next week is I wanted to bring Keith in to teach you a TA lesson. And I know there's a lot of people that might have a lot of skills in TA, but there's a lot of people that are still learning and developing their skills before this next bull market. And I think it would be a really fun thing to do to have a lesson by Keith. So I'm going to bring him in. We'll spend about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I'm going to have him teach you a lesson on TA. And if you want to really sharpen your skills, you can either join his Discord just solely if you don't want Cryptonairz, but if you want to get the best of both worlds, you can join Cryptonairz and get his community for free, or you can join his community. Just go to Carolina Keith, and he has a link down here for his 786 Discord. He does a lot of great work, guys. They post a lot of really good information, and I just want a big shout out to Keith. He works really hard in the space. And I'm actually taking lessons behind the scenes. This is me trying to spend some of my time to learn. He's got a free course here where he has all these videos posted. And I'm trying to learn TA in the background. So, trying to sharpen my skills out here, right? I wanted to go ahead and there's one thing I forgot to tell you about BioFi. They are going to, DeFi Sentry is my audit company. We just audited 4 smart contracts for BioFi. They're launching this new NFT wave with DISC, which is Drone Industries, with Cyberleet, and with, man, I always forget the third one, but isn't it like Small Frogs? Small Frogs, okay. And so this information is going to be posted next week, probably. We just are now finishing the audit. We're getting them their final report. Brian Ma, the CEO of BioFi, is heading to Africa. He's actually at the airport right now. I was just talking to him. And there's a big tech conference in Africa. It's one of the biggest conferences of the year, and they're going to be bringing over some of the Phoenix X1s to test out. You're also going to see a big announcement from BioFi about the testing, probably not this week, the week following. This information is kind of, well, I don't want to say top secret, but it is kind of top secret. I'm under NDA, so I can't really blurt out what it is. But you're going to see this probably after the NFT announcements. What it might be about, I can't tell you directly what it's about, but it might be about the Phoenix X1 and the testing that's been going on with the Phoenix X1. So there's going to be some good news posted about this very soon. Just be prepared for it. And I don't know if that's going to affect the price, but it might. And I think that's why the token has been pumping. There's probably some people that have told some other people that maybe they shouldn't, but I think that's why we've had this really nice pump, because people are getting ready and prepared. And so I have a ton of BioFi staked on their website. I just want to go over this one more time because there are some people that just forget about this. But if you're on Biometric Financial's website and you enter the D app, which is on their website here, you can click on user. I can sign this transaction, get into my wallet, switch to Avalanche, and you can actually pull up staking, okay? And I'm very, very public about what I own and where it is. You can see that I have about almost 60 million BioFi locked in this staking contract. You can see that over the time that I've made about almost 5 million rewards to date, and this is my reward structure. I should make about 13 to 17 million BioFi, and my contract is up mid next year and is a 360-day stake, okay? You can stake as low as 90 days, 120 days, 180 days, but I am on this Emerald side of 360 days. I am a long believer in this company, I think BioFi is going to do some great stuff in 2024. So I'm really looking forward to that. I did some quick numbers on how much, like, check this out. So right now we're at a $250,000 market cap, and we're almost at kind of 1/2 of a tenth of a cent, right? So if we did some just quick math and we doubled this, right, and let's just say this was a tenth of a cent at $500,000 market cap, that means at $5 million market cap for BioFi, we're going to be at a penny, okay? That's a penny, okay? So if we get to 25 million, that is 5 cents. You can see that $25 million market cap, me sitting on all of this BioFi, that I would have several $1 million in BioFi sitting here if we can achieve that in 2024, and I think it's very well possible. So I just want to put that on your radar. Okay. So let's talk about ETH projects that are around Ethereum. These could be layer 2s. These could be, Aave. This could be projects that are built on Ethereum or around the ecosystem that should do well in this next bull pump, or this next bull market, bull pump. And this next bull market that's coming up, if Ethereum goes to the moon, these projects will go to the moon with it. So just really quickly, I want to show you this. I did post a lot of these projects in Cryptonairz maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but I just wanted to go over them with you in case you missed my post. And the people that are not paying for membership, hey, here's some value for you. So Polygon. Huge. Polygon in the last bull market, you can see it went all the way up to $2 and about 50 cents here. We're at 88 cents here, so it'd be a 3x from where we are right now just to get to the all-time high. And I think you're going to see that blast past in this next market. Arbitrum really kind of hasn't yet done its full pump yet. I do think they're waiting for Ethereum to really kind of start breaking out for this to start really starting to take off. I do think that Arbitrum is going to do very well. You also have Lido DAO. A lot of these projects are kind of getting ready to go with Ethereum, so I just want to put all of these projects on your radar. You also have Compound. You also have Maker. You have Aave. You have Conic Finance, which is CNC. You have Mantle, MNT. You have Frax Share, FXS. And you have Polkadot. So please do some research on these projects if you want to ride this Ethereum wave up. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with this Steven Nerayoff narrative before I kind of go jump off the deep end. I kind of really like Polygon. Polygon and Polkadot, I do think Polkadot is going to see some really nice returns here in this next market. Even if we got back to its all-time high in the last market in 2021, it's still a 10x from where it is right now. So I think Polkadot is going to do very well. Right now, it's sitting at a $7 billion market cap. And ETH soars above 2,000 as BlackRock iShares Ethereum Trust registered as corporate entity in Delaware. Asset manager BlackRock has seemingly registered an iShares Ethereum Trust in the state of Delaware. A filing from Thursday's shows an entity under the name BlackRock Advisory submitted the paperwork. The registered agent, according to the filing, is Daniel Schweiger. a person the same name is on LinkedIn as the managing director of BlackRock. So that should be interesting, and that's why I think you've seen Ethereum pump a little bit. Let's keep it going here. I am hoping that Gala Games does see some nice returns here too, and I'm going to talk to you about some other projects down the line here. I got some stuff lined up for you to show you towards the end of the show, that other projects in the kind of crypto and AI gaming space that I think are going to do well. Also, guys, Storage Chain, I think this project is going to do really well. This project right now is sitting at, let me just refresh this really quickly, $266,000 market cap. I originally shared this project in Cryptonairz. This was at $130,000 market cap. This was maybe 4 weeks ago. So this project has gone up basically 100% since I've posted it in the community. And I actually posted it and I bought 3 days later to just to be kind of, a lot of people think I post stuff, I buy something and then I post it and then I kind of sell it. I don't do that. I tend to post stuff, I give some people opportunity, and then I get in with my heavier buys. I've been lining up some more nodes to run. I'm actually, right now, Storage Chain has about 130 or 135 terabytes of storage data that they can use. I'm going to be running 30 terabytes of that 130 very soon here. I got to set up 10 more terabytes worth of nodes here in the next day or two. So I'm a firm believer, and I think this project is going to do well. We'll have to see. But if you look at this market cap compared to other decentralized storage applications, blockchains in the space, this one I think has yet to really shine and yet to really grow. So I do think big things are coming for that project. After joining RippleNet, we became a credible partner for financial institutions around the world. We helped that helped us cut transfer costs by as much as 40% and settlement of cross-border payments in just a few hours. So guys, this is the reason why banks, small to medium enterprises are going to want to use crypto, because it saves them money. Imagine if you're just doing $1 billion a year in cross-border and it saves you 40%. How many millions of dollars is that, right? If you're doing $1 billion, it saves you 40%, it's $400 million in savings, right? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So just keep that in mind. Trust Payments in the UK, Ripple Payments plus Modular equals Trust Payments. Trust Payments continues its disruption in payments within the partnership between Modular and Ripple, delivering a new payment option for settlements, right? 20,000 customers worldwide, 10 global offices, 24 years of experience, 160 plus currencies supported. And you can look at these different card schemes that work with this. Diners card. Does anyone still have a Diners Club International card? I don't even think I've ever had one of these, but is that still a thing? You got MasterCard, Amex, Visa, JCB, and Discovery here. I got most of these cards in my wallet, but I don't have a Diners Club. Is anyone rocking Diners Club still? Anyways, I think this is going to be a great partnership. Let's keep it going here. Real estate developer in Dubai is accessing XRP as crypto option to purchase property. Things are moving fast. This is a real estate developer in Dubai, Kutra Reserve. And here they are, payment in cryptocurrency. They also take Ethereum, USDC, but they added XRP here. They also take Chills coin, and they still take FTT. And why is FTT pumping? People are nuts, man. All right, let's keep it going. So this kind of plays into the Ethereum. All right, so we're going to talk about this really quickly. No, I don't want to talk. Yeah, I'll have to leave that on. Hold on. I wanted to pull. This is the video I wanted to pull. Okay, here. Okay, so Steven Nerayoff was at a town hall with Rand, and I think this guy's name is Mario something, but he's kind of telling you the timeline of when he's going to be dropping some of this info, and this is what I was worried about. So
I do think that
we don't need to listen to this full 17 minutes here. I'm going to kind of fast forward through some of this because they kind of go back and forth and they talk over each other. So let me play a little bit of this for you, because this could be catastrophic for Ethereum, but we'll have to see. I don't know the information yet, but he's going to release a 3-hour tape with him, and I think it's Vitalik Buterin, and they're going to release it as an NFT so everybody can access it, as well as they're going to be dropping documents that kind of prove some maybe shady dealings behind the scenes.
Requirements that they had to do that they did not do, that's specifically related to whether or not it would be decentralized.
And what are the implications? I mean, we're now 5 years forward. What are the implications of the fact that it wasn't decentralized? Why? What are the?
The implications are. Let's go back. All right, so let's go back for a second. Let's go back to the ICO. The ICO, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I set it up, Okay, and it was...
All right, if you don't know who Steve Nerayoff is, guys, he actually helped set up the ICO in the original development of Ethereum. I guess it's Steven Nerayoff's narrative that the FBI and the Department of Justice made up some charges against him. They tried to, I guess, get him into some scheme with a company called, I think it's Storm or X or something. And they tried to put this guy in jail, and now he's kind of been fighting behind the scenes with his lawyers. Those charges have since been dropped, and now he's kind of coming after Ethereum with everything he's got, in my opinion.
Perfectly fine, and I had the product narrative, and I set all the pieces in place. Except if you listen to Gary Gensler, he personally has said that Joe Lubin bought 9.5%. And there's no speculative buying that turns it from a product into a security. So now you've got a securities offering. Okay, so now when you go into, is it decentralized, is it not decentralized, and you've got people like Lubin and Vitalik going out and telling it's decentralized and there's a public market for it, you're now under the securities laws. I'm not going to make an accusation in terms of what laws were broken. Is it securities fraud? Is it market manipulation? Is it what? That's for the lawyers to figure out. But you're no longer in crypto land.
Okay, but I mean, so are you insinuating?
Okay, who's talking right now is Rand. It's this gentleman right here. He's got a big channel, a lot of viewership.
Insinuating that potentially there's going to be charges against Vitalik and Joe Lubin?
Well, that's up to the DOJ and the SEC. Here's the thing: the SEC claims that they had nothing to do. Just so you guys understand what's going on here, the SEC claimed that I was crazy. They had nothing to do with this. None of this happened. And then I requested all the information that they have on me, which they said they didn't have any. But then by law, they had to tell me. They have 14 gigabytes of data on me in just a 5-year period. What the hell is 14 gigabytes if they had nothing to do with my prosecution?
I don't know what 14 gigabytes of data looks like. Does anyone else?
That makes sense, right?
Sounds like a lot.
Okay,
I think everybody can figure that out.
But I'm just trying to work out what I'm trying to unravel the potential implications, because what I've been gathering is that you've been holding a lot of information and you're about to drop a bombshell. I'm just trying to work out what the collateral damage of the bombshell is going to be.
He's trying to short the market.
You've got people that have something that's, but actually go back to a lot of people miss the first Hinman speech, and that was the Dow report. The Dow report, for those who don't know, there was a Dow where it was basically, like a venture fund, and people put like 15% of all the ether into the Dow, and then there was a hack, and there's questions about whether or not the hack was an inside job or not. Let's put that aside for a second. But you've got securities violations there, and Hinman papered that over with the Dow report, which doesn't make sense because he said basically they're grandfathered in 2016, 2017, but then he goes after Ripple in 2013. Like, that's completely inconsistent. Those are inconsistent positions.
Steve, you also said something like that they fabricated or they created a fake case against you.
Absolutely.
If I remember reading the details of your case, wasn't your case an extortion case against that was laid by a project?
Yeah, that project was a setup. That project is called Storm X, for everybody to know. Simon Yu is the CEO. Ari Yu was the president. The whole thing was a setup. And when did it start? May of 2017, the same month that Hinman got there. And that...
Okay, if you don't know, Bill Hinman used to be a head of the division. I can't remember what division in the SEC. He was instrumental. He was the one who gave the Ethereum free speech pass. He was the one who pushed the lawsuit against Ripple with Jay Clayton on Jay Clayton's last day in office of the Trump administration. They brought the lawsuit against Ripple. So that's who Bill Hinman is, if you didn't know.
Co-conspirator, everybody's... Go ahead.
And why do you think they went against you? Or why do you think... Who do you think went against you and why?
Oh, so we have proof. We got into the government's documents. We have proof, and my attorney's on here, and I don't know if he can speak or not. Mike Scotto, if we can put him into speak mode. But
Put him into speak mode.
We found this is unprecedented. We found proof that the SEC, the FBI, and the DOJ fabricated the evidence, literally fabricated it. Like there were documents that we found on FBI letterhead that I had nothing to do with. I never even knew existed. And those were the documents they prosecuted me on. There was no crime. The crime never happened. The discredit, so I'm going to be very clear, the discrediting and the prosecution was to take me out because I'm the only person who could reveal this whole EthGate saga and what they did, and they're working with Hinman that to get themselves this regulatory pass, because the regulatory pass is not valid.
And Steve, when
the regulatory pass is not valid, I'm not going to play the rest of this. If you want to take a look at this, go to Steven Nerayoff's Twitter and listen to the whole thing, guys. It is eye-opening. I'm awaiting to see what happens, right? Because if he does release some very damning information about Vitalik and Joseph Lubin, and there's a lot of Twitter sleuths have kind of done some digging, right? You have emails right here between Joseph Lubin and Bill Hinman. These guys were meeting behind the scenes. They were plotting. They were doing all kinds of stuff. There's been information that was released that actually Ethereum founders had something to do with writing Bill Hinman's actual speech. So I do think this is a narrative that we need to pay attention to because, you know, we always are looking for black swan events. This could be a black swan event in the making. It could be a nothing burger, but it's leading more and more towards something that could be bad for Vitalik and Joseph Lubin. Personally, I'm in between because I want the entire crypto market to do good. I think if something happens to Ethereum, that could be catastrophic for the entire market because there's a lot of things that are built on Ethereum. So part of me wants Vitalik and Joseph Lubin to kind of get what's coming to them because they've been sitting on the sidelines. They've been pointing at all of these other projects and these other CEOs and these other companies saying, you're doing bad, you're doing bad, you're doing bad. When behind the scenes, it looks like they were the ones who were up to no good. So I don't know. What do you guys feel about this? Do you guys feel that justice needs to be done on Vitalik and Joseph Lubin, or do you think this is a nothing burger? I'm interested to see what you guys think. And if you guys can hit the like button, it will help me get in front of more amazing people like you. I do appreciate you. Oh, I wanted to just really quickly also check this out, guys. I am adding more and more merch into the Cryptonairz shop. Christmas is coming up, and I've been working on some really cool Christmas items. They have not yet quite hit the shop yet, but, you know, if you like, you know, Ethereum gear, XRP gear, this is one of my favorite designs here with the little astronaut and the XRP heart. I wear the shirt all the time. I also like this guy with the little astronaut with the XRP. Take a look at the store, man. There's a lot of cool things in here that you could get for Christmas. These, I love all these shirts. I got the little Crypto Sensei logo on the side of these guys, and I'm busy working on some new designs. And actually, I'll show you some of these designs here. I'll get into my DMs here and show you some of these cool designs that I am working on. Check this out. These are some of the new designs that I'm working on for the shop. I got a little XRP to the moon thing here, but then you'll have some like Christmas AVAX stuff. This is kind of fun with the Santa, working on some Solana shirts. I think these are some fun stuff too. So I'm working on AVAX and working on Solana and some other stuff for you guys as well. All right. So I just thought I wanted to point that out just in case you wanted some cool XRP merch and some whatever other merch you guys want. It's there in the shop. All right. Let's keep it going here. So I want to talk a little bit about Casper Labs. I also want to talk about Hedera. Let's talk about Hedera first, okay? So 5 companies building innovative real-world use cases on Hedera. You have, what is this? Arbidon PLC. I played some clips from them. They're working on tokenization. This company's been in I think for like 200 years. This has been Arbidon, a purpose to enable our clients and better investors. It's interesting what they're doing on Hedera, right? They're working on tokenization. The 10th anniversary of Arbidon's Edinburgh Investment Forum 2023. They got this. They're also working. Quarter Homes is transitioning real estate industry by tokenizing home equities with Toko Network, right? So this, you have Hedera, you have kind of Ripple, XRP, as well as they're all kind of working together on this tokenization of HELOCs, home loans, secondary home loans. You also have Diamond Standard transforming the diamond market by leveraging Hedera network of tokenized diamonds. This is cool. I talked about this like 2 years ago. I told you that everything's going to get tokenized. You got diamonds, gold, silver. You're going to have precious rare earth metals. Anything of value that really needs to move quickly can get tokenized. So I thought this was really cool. Neuron World is revolutionizing the drone industry with this platform leveraging Hedera consensus service provider with a tamper-proof record of critical communications between ground sensors and drones. That's awesome. And then you got Project Starling. It's transforming media integrity with this comprehensive framework utilizing Hedera's consensus. It doesn't feel like Hedera's kind of done, really popped yet. But I do think Hedera is definitely one to watch in this next bull market. You can kind of see in the last month, it's gone from, just above 4.5 cents to about 6.5 cents. So not too bad. It's up about 37% in the last month. So I do think they're going to have an incredible bull market. It does have a high in the last bull market of about 47 cents. So a lot of room to grow here. It's still down 84% from its all-time high. I think it's going to get past its all-time high, plus, okay? You also have Morpheus Network, right? We've talked about Morpheus to an extent in the Cryptonairz Discord in the past, we were talking about Morpheus Network like 9 months ago. But you have Morpheus Network, DHL, SAP, right? A lot of connections here. 100 plus Morpheus integrations. Morpheus Network integrates with over 100 industry-leading technologies and service providers. These key integrations facilitate SWIFT. I love how they made this look like SWIFT, right? SWIFT settlements within traditional banking worldwide, and allows us to incorporate a layering of other blockchain technologies to include as necessary objective in given workflows. I do think Morpheus Network is going to be a powerhouse. Let me just pull up Morpheus Networks real quick. As you can see, I was kind of trying to answer comments in the same time. Morpheus Network. All right, here's Morpheus. $1.39. Damn. All right. I didn't know it took just a gigantic jump in the last just couple hours. I did not see this. Look at this. $1.40 to $1.60. That's pretty crazy. We were talking about Morpheus kind of back in this valley, right? Earlier in 2023. I think we were actually targeting it way back here too, but had a nice little ride up, and then it was kind of consolidating here for a very long time. You can actually run Morpheus nodes. You can't be in the US. How much Morpheus nodes? There's 2,000 tokens. I can't remember exactly the number, how many tokens you needed to run a node, but maybe somebody from Cryptonairz remembers when we were talking about this a while ago. But man, this thing has gone, I think this is going to even go more parabolic here as more adoption happens, but it has a high of $4.64 before they built really too much in the network. So I think there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Here's Morpheus Networks connections. You got Stellar, Twilio, Oracle, UPS, Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce. I mean, it's just going to be a monster. I want to get into this real quick. Just Hedera, the institutional of Web3 is happening on Hedera. Welcome to the governing council, right? If you look at all these companies, there's some pretty amazing companies that are working and building on Hedera. This is the governing council. I think this is every 1 or 2 years they kind of bring new people in and out of, but you have IBM, which is one of the biggest partnerships, Google, FIS Global, which is a Ripple partner as well, DLA Piper, Dell. I mean, it's just, how many trillions of dollars worth of companies are on here? It's a lot. It's a lot. So just keep that on your radar. Let me play this and I'll answer some questions. I just saw GGG Fabect into the chat. I want to answer some of his comments or her comments. Oh, I love this. Check us out. Trying to send money. Remember when Brad Garlinghouse said it was like faster to put money on a plane and send it to China on a plane than it is to kind of send it to China? They took what he said and put it into an advertisement. I love this advertisement. It's so good. I think that they hit it out of the park with that advertisement. It says fragmented cross-border payment system. I just thought that was awesome. All right, let me play this on Casper because I wanted to talk with you about Casper before I got into anything else here. Casper Labs. We've been talking about Casper in the Cryptonairz for quite some time. Casper Labs. Okay. Just want to set the narrative here before I show you this clip. Okay. So Casper Labs has had a high in actually 2023, earlier this year, of about 6.27 cents. Right now it's sitting at about 3.7 cents. They are working on a lot of things to do with AI, generative AI. They're working with IBM, and this is actually from a Q&A they had just the other day, a webinar featuring IBM and Casper Labs. Listen to this. It is actually extremely cool. They're going to talk to you about some things that they're working on, some stuff that hasn't been announced yet, but check us out.
Labs and IBM already work on together. Sham, Mrinal, I think that's probably another one for you too.
Yeah, I'll go first, Sham. So obviously IPv that we talked about. There are 2 or 3 others that we are working on that are large projects. Unfortunately, we can't discuss them publicly until, those entities are okay discussing it. When it comes to PR and publicity release, we don't like to jump the gun. And then, of course, on Brave AI, we've been working together for a few months. So this didn't start because of the executive order or anything like that. We actually started on this months ago, and been very glad to have IBM as thought partners on this. Anything to add, Sham?
Yeah, Mrinal, do you want to look at it? Do you want to start this time?
Oh, no. Yeah, so Sham, I already went. Sorry, I think we're having a few audio issues. Matt, we can go to the next question.
Yeah. We'll jump ahead. So I'll pose this one to the group. Heather, Aviva, would be great to hear from either of you on this one as well. What makes blockchain more secure than other options when it comes to storing and auditing AI training data?
Yeah, I can take that. If it's on a decentralized public blockchain, it is Byzantine fault tolerant, meaning you can have insiders that are corrupt, but because of the game theory used on blockchain, there's more incentive to be honest than it would cost you to be dishonest. So basically, you can trust the data to stay immutable and to be tamper-proof. And there's no other technology that can give you that. Of course, the on-ramps and the off-ramps to blockchain can be corrupted, as we saw with cryptocurrency exchanges. So if you're moving data on and moving data off, you have to trust those sources. But once it's on the blockchain, and especially if it's public, no inside threat could take over.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next question. The provenance of an LLM training data set would consist of trillions of records conservatively. How are you solving for that? I'll pose that to the group. Mrinal, I know you have a perspective, but Heather, Sham, let me know if you'd like to jump in as well.
Yeah, I'll go first. So it is true that there's large swaths of data. And what's very important to note is blockchain can act as a reconciliation for that without replicating the data itself. I think there's this false notion that, to make the data tamper-proof, you have to store it all on the blockchain. You don't. You just need to store the reference, you need to store the hash, and if it's ever been tampered with, the hashes are never going to match. And so something was corrupted along the way. So blockchain is actually an excellent tagging system for large swaths of data without having to replicate the data itself. This is further augmented by hybrid systems where if you're maintaining your own Casper infrastructure, of course it relays to the public network to get the auditability and decentralization, you can basically set the mechanics on how the data reconciliation occurs. But just to be clear, there's absolutely no requirement to replicate the data twice to get all the benefits from blockchain. You just have to be really smart about how you create the tagging and hashing system.
Yeah. Hey, Bernard, great answer. I just want to add, off-chain and on-chain data storage needs to be very carefully architected. especially with compliance to GDPR, privacy laws, and bias mitigation issues and things like that. And also another angle to keep in mind is when you're talking AI governance, you also need strong data governance to be in place for you to get the best out of AI governance and AI models that you're building. So it's not just about storage of the data, it's about governance of the data, it's about then aligning with the governance of the model as well.
All right, I'm going to include this whole chat. If you want to take a look at this whole chat, if you're in Casper and this interests you, I will post it in the chat here so you guys can take a look at this and listen to this whole thing yourself. Let's get into the rest of this. I do have a bunch of projects that, was it BZ Becker, or whatever his name is, he posted this clip here. ZZS Becker, this guy is insane. He was holding a gun in this video, and I don't know what else, but he brought up a bunch of these projects. I'm just going to talk with you here in a second about them really quickly. Let's just get through. I have a few other things I want to talk about before we get into those projects. That guy is wild. But anyways, the American financial system. The reason I talk about this so much is, one, I'm in America, but two, when Americans don't have money to spend on things, the kind of world suffers, right? Because you're talking about supply chain issues. You're talking about people that create the products that Americans buy that maybe don't have the money to buy those products. And what leads to is people in those factories not having jobs because not as much demand is there. So I'd like to talk a little bit about this really quickly. Delinquent commercial real estate loans at U.S. banks has hit their highest level in a decade. Okay, I've been talking about this, God knows how long, maybe 6 to 12 months, that this is going to be becoming a more of a theme going into 2024. You're going to see more bankruptcies. You're going to see more banks have losses. You're going to see more banks fail because of this. U.S. bank stocks have collapsed to all-time lows when measured against the S&P 500 index. Jamie Dimon and his family will sell 140 million of JP Morgan stock in 2024. So this is telling you that Jamie Dimon, he runs JP Morgan Chase. He doesn't think the banking system is going to be looking too good going into 2024 into 2025. So he's selling, and their family are selling a ton of stock. This should give you some warning bells in your head what's to come here, okay? U.S. banks are sitting on an estimated $650 billion in unrealized losses on their bond holdings just themselves. The bond holdings are not even to do with their delinquent commercial real estate loans, okay? You add this with this, and it's catastrophic for the U.S. banking system, okay? And I don't see a lot of people talking about this right now. The 60 days old delinquency rate on subprime-backed ABS that Fitch tracks rose 6.1% in September. This represents a record. So just understand that things are going to be getting a lot worse for banks in 2024, all right? I do not know how you bring the economy in for a soft landing when you're looking at all of these different things, all right? Just want to put that on your forefront, put that in your mind. And also, check this out. Peter St. Noge, he's an interesting fellow. He kind of calls it how it is, says it very directly, but soaring bankruptcies, crashing volumes, and mass layoffs in shipping and freight, one of the most reliable indicators of a recession. Check this out.
A few days ago, shipping analyst FreightWaves came out with a sobering report showing soaring bankruptcies among trucking and logistics firms as freight volumes crash. In an age where many of us are skeptical about government statistics, freight volumes are one of the more reliable shadow indicators of coming recession. And keep in mind, we're just 6 weeks from Christmas, meaning this is usually the peak season for shipping. FreightWaves CEO listed out the red wedding level of carnage. 30,000 employees out of work when trucking firm Yellow went down, followed by the bankruptcy of $4 billion VC-backed freight brokerage Convoy. Air cargo operator Western Global went down with $500 million in debt. Freight broker Surge, $200 million in revenue, slumped. North Carolina trucking company FreightWorks took out 200 truckers. Texas-based SEL took out another 125. California-based and family-owned Certified Freight took down 157. 40-year-old Montana trucking company Meadowlark left hundreds more jobless, and Florida-based Flagship took out 455. The list goes on from Vermont to Miami to California to Pennsylvania. Note that is just the bankruptcies. The layoffs are on top. Danish shipping giant Maersk just laid off 10,000 workers and cut capital expenditure by $3.5 billion. In other words, they'll be running down existing capital. They did this because revenue fell by 50% among plunging freight costs and ships running half empty. Maersk is widely viewed as a global trade barometer, and the layoffs were so big, they drove the Eurasia Review to fret about the, quote, disintegration of globalization. Indeed, prices across the 8 major global shipping routes have plunged by more than half this year, going from $3,000 per 40-foot container to just $1,400. Maersk's shipping rates are down 58%, China's Costco is down 60%, and Japan's Ocean Network Express is down 62%. A report by Drewry forecasts the entire industry will lose $15 billion next year. Now, this is feeding directly into trucking, which is the last mile. In fact, going by employment, trucking is doing 3 times worse than the 2000 recession, which was itself much worse than the 2008 recession. Still not a recession, though, until Paul Krugman says it is. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. For shipping, the near term is pretty bleak, with falling prices running into continuing inflation. Some of this was inevitable after the epic pandemic-era run-up. Remember, it was just 2 short years ago that newspapers were jammed with stories of blocked supply chains, America's driving to Mexico for baby formula, or cruising eBay for used washing machines lest they wash their clothes in a creek. At one point, the Baltic Dry Index, which measures the cost to ship raw materials, hit almost 12,000, that's about 8 times normal. That pulled thousands of new workers into trucking and shipping. So Walmart at one point was offering $110,000 starting pay for truck drivers. And it launched dozens of major container ships that are only now coming online. That overhang is taking years, so freight analyst Alphaliner estimates shipping capacity will increase 8.2% this year. It's about 6 times faster than demand, even as the industry loses billions. In short, shipping says a fairly brutal recession is incoming, while lockdowns once again have whipsawed an industry that millions depend on. As the recession intensifies, expect more pain.
All right. So you're having a lot of shipping, new demand. COVID really kind of slowed down shipping, right? And so they wanted to create all of these new ships and new places to bring cargo, but you're having less demand for shipping. So you have all of these new avenues to ship things, but you don't have the demand to put the goods on the ship. So that's a big problem as well. And this stuff is only going to compound with all of this stuff that we just went over with the U.S. financial system. So let's see how this goes in 2024. But the writing does kind of look on the wall that we are heading in for a rough approach here. All right, so Mickey Briefresh posted this David Schwartz message for UNL validators. The only reason to oppose AMM's amendment is if you don't want the XRP ledger to grow. XLS30 AMM amendment is monumental for the XRP community, earns 3x yields streams for liquidity providers. Ripple Swell announcement that Ripple payments to be integrated directly into the XRP ledger, native DEX and AMM. Demand for XRP equals price. And then he put a full 40-minute video on this. If you want to go ahead and check it out, please do so. But here's a clip from the video.
So according to David Schwartz on Twitter, about the only reason to oppose the AMM amendment is if you don't want the XRP ledger to grow. That would be rational if you thought the XRPL was currently too broken and couldn't handle it. I don't believe either of those things. And I agree, it was built to be a value exchange. And then he says, regarding the amendment voting process from the UNL validators regarding XLS 30D amendment, he says, in general, validators shouldn't vote yes individually. The community should make a decision, and then validators should nearly all vote yes when they believe the community is on board and enough nodes support the change. So that is very interesting right there, because we have 35 UNL validators, and they represent the community. And I think it's important that the community knows that and the validators know that as well. Then he goes on to say, the amendment voting process is intended to coordinate activation and prevent activation if a problem is discovered. It's really not supposed to be a governance mechanism. In my opinion, David Schwartz's opinion, validators should generally vote what they think the community has agreed on and not what they think is best. I think it's pretty overwhelming. The community is for the automated market maker. I mean, this is a no-brainer. The amount of benefits, and I think that hasn't been highlighted enough in a lot of these discussions, because I just don't think the knowledge level is there. And the narrative has steered to people scaring others away because of a permanent loss, but not mentioning all the benefits. So basically he's saying when amendments, there's this much effort put into them over 2 years period that are this monumental, that are built to work with the existing technologies and core protocols. This isn't some amendment that's outside the box, that's bringing some extravagant new feature that's never been tested.
Gigi, do you have a link to that? I'd love to pull that up. I wanted to pull up the XRPL amendments, XRPL amendments. Let's see where we are real quick. Doobie-doo. I always do this the wrong way. I need the dashboard. Known amendments, dashboard. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we've gotten anywhere in the last couple days. Oh, okay, voters 12. Okay, we've gone a little bit. We got one more. So now we're at 34% consensus. We're still far away from the 80% that we need for AMMs. Let's see what else is cracking on here. Okay, so fixed reduce offers V1. So this does have consensus. Needs to be for 2 weeks before it's implemented. It does look like validators are voting for some stuff, but not quite for everything. Remember, just because somebody's on this nay side doesn't mean they voted for no. It means they have not some of it means they have not voted yet. So just understand that. Doesn't mean that these guys voted no. It defaults to nay until you vote yes. So we have 12. We need 28. We are still a ways away. Not sure if anything will happen. Okay, so we're talking, if you're not watching the chat, we're talking about November 19th, right? And what's going to happen on the 19th with ISO implementation. So I'm trying to see, GGG was talking about, there's a JP Morgan party. I'm trying to see where this event is. Well, this is student events. See, that's my ADHD just clicking on shit. Student events. Corporate challenge. Yeah, see if you can find it, let me know. I'd love to pull it up and we could take a look at that really quickly. All right. So let's get into this real quick. So there was a new video put out by Alex Becker's channel. He brought up several projects on here. Actually, we've actually talked about this project, 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 and this project in Cryptonairz before this was posted. Just want to be 100% clear on this, guys. If you're looking for alpha and you're not waiting for it to hit YouTube, Cryptonairz is a great place for the alpha. But here's some of the projects that he was talking about. Neo Tokyo, $7.12, $15 million market cap. Immutable X, right? I do think Immutable X is going to be a monster. This is one of those ecosystems that a lot of games will be built on. Right now we're sitting at $1.4 billion market cap. Of course, AVAX, I do think AVAX is going to do really well. We had a high of AVAX of $134 and we're sitting at $18 right now. So I do think AVAX can blast past its all-time high. And there's a lot of growth waiting for AVAX, sitting at $6 billion right now. You also have CDFI. CDFI, we've been talking about Cryptonairz for a little bit of time here. I mean, just in the past, God, what is this? In the past 1 month, this thing has gone up over 100%. Let's take a look at when this was brought up inside of Cryptonairz, just so we can have some clarification here. So let's see, let's see, when did people start really talking about this? Oh, look at this. CDFI, and we started talking about this 9/11/2022. We listed a bunch of projects also. So we've been talking about it a little bit of time in Cryptonairz. Illuvium, this is also a project that was recommended by Alex Becker. In the past, just in the month alone, this has gone up 127%. You also have Vulcan Forged up 40% in the last 7 days. In the last month, this has gone up. Man, these things have been popping off. Does anyone think there's going to be a little bit of a cool down before we really get into this next bull market? I think a lot of things have been pumping really hard. I think things are going to cool off a little bit before we really send this thing to the moon. But you just want to put all these projects on your research list, guys. If you need help researching projects, there is a great place to do that. I don't know if that was one of the projects. D-Race. This is actually a pretty cool project. Not much happening with D-Race right now, but let me just pull this up here. This is the racing project, right, where you have like these virtual horses, right? D-Race is a complete NFT horse racing ecosystem based on the blockchain powered by Dirk. Yeah, I thought these are always fun, right? Looks like they're building a game here too, which is kind of cool. Merit Circle is now going to be Beam, right? They're doing a migration to Beam, migrate to Beam. Man, Merit Circle, I've been in this project for a very long time. Actually, kind of like when it launched and like right after it launched. And this thing has been trading sideways for quite some time. I think this is one that is going to be breaking out here in the next bull market. It's had a nice 7-day rally, up 63%. And here's the website for it. It's a DAO. Future of gaming is bright on Beam. So they just did some kind of like a refresh in their what they want to put out here. A new era of gaming. Beam is an open source blockchain specialized for gaming. It's an ecosystem that simplifies the complexities of game development and dramatically enhances the gaming experience, putting the focus back on the player. I mean, the ecosystems, when you have, so what you want to focus on in this next bull run, it's good to focus on individual games. That's cool. But if you focus on an ecosystem that develops games, even if they have a game that doesn't quite hit the mark, they might develop several other games that do, and that could be beneficial for the ecosystem. So you're not just putting all of your eggs in one basket. That's why I kind of like these ecosystems, right? So just another project to take a look at. So here's the list one more time. If you wanted to know, you can go watch this Alex Becker video. Dude's holding a gun in this video. I think it's just interesting. So and Immutable X, I do think, is going to be one of those ecosystems as well. There's a little bit more ISO news that I have here. Also, the Stars Will Shine XLM. This is the gentleman from USDC, and this is Stellar's CEO, Danielle Dixon. Let me play this.
Piece, getting value from point A to point B, taking the cost out, making it easier, more access. But what are the next layers that get built? Again, hearing Haris talk about the disparities in terms of access to other financial services, are those the next layers that come once we get this value exchange layer kind of dealt with?
I think it's so if you think about what does it mean for someone who doesn't have a bank account and can't get access to a bank account, the most important thing for them is to be able to access something that's simple, clean, easy to use. I think what we haven't done enough of on the blockchain side is using applications, but focusing on those applications from the user standpoint and just ease of use and simplicity. So I do think we need to have those wallets that we have many of them that are out there in the world already. But then we also need to be able to have, a company, D-Stock, is actually launching, and they're able to allow folks in all parts of the world to be able to purchase shares of stock in the US, but from everywhere in the world. Those are the kinds of things that really opens up the infrastructure and the ability to really derive value. So it's these applications that come in, again, they have to be simple from the user standpoint. And then they just open up opportunity. What about if you could hold assets? We already have this on some chains where you can hold assets and get interest.
Right. All right. And then I have some ISO news coming up for you here. The industry is on the verge of replacing systems with DLT and digital assets. Ripple partnered the ISDA, leading the way with CDM, a platform that supports DLT for derivatives. Guys, I did a video, Sensei Chat, maybe 2-3 months ago, where I actually had clips from the CEO of the ISDA speaking with somebody else, talking about how much value moves through the ISDA and is going to be moving through blockchain. You're talking about almost $2 trillion a day that moves through this system. So this is actually really, really cool. This is kind of what people are waiting for as far as price explosion. You do have Algorand that is also partnered with the ISDA. So it's going to be interesting to see what technology they decide to kind of use. I think they'll use probably a little bit of everything. But, you know, Ripple joining the ISDA was a really cool move. Recently, we did talk about very recently, maybe this was maybe 6-8 weeks ago. As mentioned, the ISDA plans to launch the protocol in September 2023. All parties will able to adhere to this date. Parties should expect a 2-month adherence period until November, right? So it's like this is so part of me is like, man, I don't really think much can happen on the 19th and 20th, and part of me is like, man, this is just kind of waiting to all go to DLT and really kind of exploding. So it's so hard to see what's going to happen here. But I mean, I have a bag of XRP that I'll never sell because I have no idea when they're going to start really using this technology, and neither does anyone else, unless you're like a fly on a wall in some of these boardroom meetings and you really kind of know the hard dates. All we're doing is just guessing, okay? Just full out, all we're doing is just guessing, okay? But this next generation of digital data and processing standard, a higher order of financial data, contract model advantages over FPML fix, fully described business events, data processing standards, lineages, captures life cycles of events across multiple products along with actors, participants, built-in data rules, and validate input semantics, track cause and effects, records, lineages represented in JSON, strong foundation for digital capital markets, contracts, and DLT, right? When this really does go, this is going to be pretty insane. Here you go. The industry is looking for distributed ledger technology. Some market infrastructures are on the verge of replacing production systems with their technologies. With that in mind, target IT platforms are required to manage digital assets, execute smart contracts, and connect to nodes in various distributed ledgers to retrieve data. As DLT and blockchain initiatives multiply across capital markets, the question of interoperability and standards will become crucial. The ISDA is leading the way for establishing a common domain model for derivatives, right? This is really where a lot of the value will come from. It's not going to come from people like me and you investing in some of these tokens. It's going to be coming from these markets being brought onto DLT. You're talking stock, bond, derivatives. This is where the value is going to come from, my friends. All right. So this is kind of cool, right? Bank, venue, client, ISDA in the middle, bank, venue, client. Man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. PAX 800 plus UETR in DLT format within ISO Ripple PAX 800. Here you go. This is Debitor Corp, Bank A, regulatory note, DLT format, credit transfer, DLT format, sent, picked by the regulator node, passed to the SWIFT connector, right? Regulators will be nodes on the network so they can validate transactions. All customer credit transfers, financial institution credit transfers, plus CBPR plus portfolio will further enrich on November 19, 2023. This is, I mean, it's so hard to know what's going to happen on later this month. BNY Mellon has 46.9 trillion in assets in custody and an administration of 1.9 trillion in assets under management as of June 30th, 2023. Man, can you imagine these assets coming onto like a private ledger? It would be insane. It would be insane. Embracing digital assets, BNY Mellon, Action, APIs, Zelle, fraud management tools, Swift GPI, real-time payments, supported digital payment schemes, embracing digital assets. Kind of cool. And then you have ISO standards, Ripple Net Payment Object Body carries payment instruction details governed by Ripple Net Payment Object Standards, which use the ISO 20022 PAX 8008 message definition as a basis. Excuse me. All right, and then we have head of payments at BNY Mellon. We just talked about this. Excuse me. It's just a different one. Phoenix World Currency, Pain 001, November 2023. CGI MP, Rising Like the Phoenix, introduction of version, ISO version 2019. It's going to be interesting. Really interesting to see what happens. I have that Battle of Champagne in my fridge just in case. Remove space right after Rotherco. Oh, did you post it? I can't see it. Ariana, no worries. I'll talk to you later behind the scenes. Thank you so much. I didn't see the thing get posted. GGG, can you send it to me on Twitter? That might be a better place to message me, and I can actually pull it up. Send it to Crypto Sensei. Make sure it has a blue check mark, and I'll pull it up. JP Morgan Swift plus November 2023, the switch, right? Man, part of me wants to believe something really great is going to happen on this date for us, but I'm just not sure, guys. And then here you go. In line with coexistence period, JP Morgan will continue to send MT9 statement and advice reporting messages as default from 2023. The transition clients to the MX equivalent messages using risk managed approach on opt-in basis. The target date, November 2023. I really hope something crazy happens. I would love to just have a big ass party in Hawaii and everybody's invited. Bank of Mauritius in commerce pilot phase of digital rupee in November 2020, says governor. The Apex Bank has already set up a sandbox in partnership with the undisclosed party to explore potential features and tailor the digital currency to Mauritius specific needs. The second phase of the project will focus on the use of the digital rupee in transactions. That's kind of cool. I'll have some more updates in Sensei chats for you when that happens. Confirmation that 2025 to 2026 ISO implementations are misconception. The reality is that these banks implemented technology now. So, man, reflecting on ISO's 20022 interoperability, it brings in mind the inception of Bluetooth short distance wireless communications. ISO will become the new global standard for secure, standardized financial communication, addressing the broader financial landscape. Basel III focuses on capital and reserves, while ISO emerges as a crucial component for the digital system. Contrary to misconceptions about ISO implementation in 2025, it's going to happen this year in 2023 into 2024. Cool. And then some 100x projects to look at: Rio, Dion, Trias, Caspa, FET. Some more projects that you guys should have on your radar. I just wanted to show you this. Rio is actually a project that we've been in for some time in Cryptonairz. Let me just show you this real quick. Let me just pull this up real quick. Rio. Old. When was this talked about in the community? Hold on. Let's go new. Hold on real quick. When did Rayon talk about this real quick here? He posted it in trades not too long ago. 1031, 1030, 1029. Hold on. There's a long post talked about late October. There's a lot of really good information here, guys. 1025. Hold on, let me just pull this up because I'm actually very eager to see when this was first posted. Rio moving up forward. So we were talking really kind of about this 7/31/2023. Top 5, 7/18. Here you go. Rio, Dion, Aitor, Hera. So here you go. 7/18/2023. All right. 7/18/2023. 7/18/2023. So we were talking about this project back here, right in here. So you could actually have learned about this project. You could have got into it here. You could have got into it here. Or you could have got into it down here. This is actually where I kind of bought into this project. I'm up pretty fat on this recently. I'm up 100%. I bought in like right recently at the end of October. So I took a little bit of profit at 45 cents when it kind of dipped here. So another great project. That we do talk about in the Cryptonairz Discord. Man, I don't even know how much people would be up right now if you just kind of followed some of the stuff. But Dion, Trias, Caspa. Caspa is another one, guys. Caspa. God, we were talking about this months ago too. Look at this. Right in this valley. Right in here. Gone up to 9 cents. Man. Crazy. This is just proof that you're going to be able to make so much money in this next bull market, right? This is not even a bull market, and these projects have already pumped, a couple 100% just in the last couple months. It's just going to get crazy. All right, so let me see. Did GGG send me that message? Let me see. No new messages. Let me see. Nope, that's not you. Nope. All right. I don't have it, my friend. What is this? Policy Director EMEA Ripple AA Whitworth at CC Data Summit, October 12, 2023. It's 15 minutes. I don't have time to play that. Just want to see if there's anything else maybe I've missed that we want to talk about really quickly before I end here today. We've been almost going for about an hour and 40 minutes. We know about Finastra. Looks like people are buying XRP. DAG's hitting 4 cents. Theta. I'd like to see Theta do something. It's been kind of stuck too. It's good to see Constellation hit 4 cents though. All right. We were all over Solana around 15 bucks. Yeah, I'm trying to tell people to join the community. I can't force people into the community. But hey, if you want to join Cryptonairz, there is a link that I can give you. Let me just give it to you one more time. 7-day free trial for Sensei YouTube. Okay, let me pull this real quick. If you want to try Cryptonairz for 7 days for free, let me post this link for you. And actually, I'll include it in the description of this video when I'm done with the chat. Sign up for the community for 7 days for free. See for yourself. Go through the data that we pulled, the information that our team pulls, that our community pulls together, and see for yourself. I mean, it's one thing for me to tell you and kind of show you in the background, but it's another thing for you to experience it yourself. You need a good community. You can't do this all yourself. If you do it all yourself, more props to you, but it is very difficult to do all of this research by yourself. All right. Anything else before we get out of here? There's a bunch of crypto senses in there. All right, here. I am the one with this. A 0 is the O, and I have 2 I's. I know all the cool crypto senses were taken. So you got to do CROPT0 SENSEII. That is the one that you want. 30,000 followers. You send it to me and we'll pull it up real quick before we end here today. And remember, guys, anytime an ad plays on YouTube and they're saying to send XRP in for more XRP, these are always a scam. Please don't fall for these types of things. Ripple Platinum sponsor, right? Stuart Alderati, Oh, here's a little clip from Modular. Let me play this for you.
Values as us as providing better, superior access to the payment networks. So with Ripple, we're bringing that in a much more simplified, easy access form. We believe we bring very strong access to the local network. So as a strategic clearing partner here in the UK and Europe, we have deep direct access. So we're one of the few non-bank financial institutions that have direct access to the Bank of England. So we're operating on the same basis as the large clearing banks, but bringing quality and service through our API technology that enables that access through RippleNet. We decided to work with Ripple and specifically integrate with RippleNet because we felt that was a strong proposition for our clients and for us to be able to offer out our services and access to the European clearing systems and the UK clearing systems on a broad basis, on a global and international basis, and whether that's through real-time access to the transaction flow, the data, but also the clearing is really critical for us, and we believe Ripple have the same values, the same focus, and will deliver significant benefits to our partners and to their customers in terms of being able to access digital services real-time and therefore drive economic value and benefit to the end customers.
Where did you post it, GGG? Because I don't see a new message from you. I'm just trying to find it. 2 arrested for extortion for startup cryptocurrency. Yeah, I saw this, man. This is something to do with what? Storm J or something, right? Is the project that he was, that the charges were kind of brought up on. Stephen Nerayoff and Michael Peters, described operation guy. March. I think this is like Storm J is the company that he was like brought up on, but these charges were dropped. So I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. I think the Stephen Nerayoff Ethereum saga is actually a very interesting thing. Posting, yeah. Can you GGG? Can you go? Man, I'd say go to Cryptonairz and post it because I don't see a new message from you. I'd like to post it up and bring this up. Oh, is this what you're talking about? Oh, I love you. Thank you. You actually added me. Thank you. Here, let me follow you so I know who you are. Thank you. All right, so JP Morgan. So this is JP Morgan, the November 19th, 2023 ISO 20022 Go Live event. It's an event, my people. The second bootstrapping event will occur on October 7, 2023. In scope, the November 19, 2023 ISO Go Live event. Well, I mean, it's not an event that they're having, right? It's just that they call this an event, right? The Swift, Migration, BNY Mellon, all of these companies, right? So I thought it was an actual party. So I was looking for like champagne and things like that. It's just the Go Live event. I got you. Thank you for clarifying that with me. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the 19th. I'm hoping for like the moon, man. I really am hoping for the moon. I really not on co-defendant. Yeah, JP, it's hard to, we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But anyways, guys, the Sensei chat has been filled with a ton of different information. If you missed it or you want to go back, we did talk about this Natalie Lang, Undersecretary of Domestic Finance. She talks about CBDCs and DLT adoption in the United States. We talked about the IOSCO and their meetings. We talked about Delium. We talked about Binance. We talked about BioFi. We talked about Sin. This was a project that was posted in Cryptonairz. Been up 200% since it was posted in the last 2 weeks. Talked a little bit about DC FinTech Week and what Brad did here. The HSBC update. We talked about Ethereum. We talked about Binance, Delium again, Medico. We talked about Constellation. We talked about Tom Emmer going after Gary Gensler. Digital Ruble works with the UAE. That's supposed to be launching in 2025, hopefully. We talked about HSBC a little bit more. We talked about all these different Ethereum projects. Just really quickly, let me flash them for you. Lido, Comp, Aave. We talked about storage chain a little bit. We talked about a lot of Ripple news in the background. We talked about the Steven Nerayoff narrative with Ethereum. Man, we went over... So actually, I didn't go through this. According to market participants and reporters, the EU agreement on instant payments harbors a SEPA bomb because non-banks are also going to be given access to payment systems in the ECB infrastructure in future massive expansion and competition. The SEPA payments has been pushed back to March 17th of 2024, though. So all this other stuff with ISO and Swift is going to happen before then, JP Morgan. So we'll see how that affects the market. And then SEPA will come into play next year. We talked about HBAR. We talked about Casper. We talked a little bit about the economy. We talked about Casper. We talked about all of these other gaming projects that ZZ Becker had posted in his recent video. A lot of these projects that were posted already in Cryptonairz a while ago before this video was even made. And then we talked a little bit about the ISDA, a little bit about ISO. There's so much information here that we just went over the last hour and 40 minutes. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you all. BTC pumping live now. Let's take a look at that. Oh, yeah. 37.2. All right. Man, what do we need to break to really kind of send this thing into overdrive? Like 40,000? I think 40,000 is really like the number that's going to really start getting kind of crazy, right? $728 billion in just Bitcoin alone. That is a lot of cheddar. That's a lot of money in just Bitcoin. And I mean, if people can put $727 billion into Bitcoin, and that's what the ecosystem is worth, why can't something that actually has a real world use case have something similar, right? We're still sitting at 35 billion here for XRP. And it's been a very long time since we had anything over $1, right? Back in 2021, we hit $1.48 for a period of time. We dipped way back down, and then we pumped back up, and then we just been accumulating. So we'll have to see how all of this goes, my friends. We'll take one final look at the charts before we kind of get out of here. Let's see what's up. The biggest FTT. Now, I do not understand what people are doing gambling on maybe FTT coming back. I don't know. Does anyone think this is kind of maybe like some market manipulation in the background? I don't know. This worries me. Also, Tia, this is a project that was actually posted in Cryptonairz before it launched. And this went up to, this launched at like $2. Now it's at $4, another 100% gain since this launched. Q&T posted this, right? When it was launched just 2 weeks ago. Man, I it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's great to see the market doing well and everybody doing well at the same time. Luna's up 75%. I mean, even if things like this can pump, Crow, Avalanche, it's nice to see all of these, all this green in the market, guys. It really is. It really is nice to see all this green in the market. Definitely a difference in change. ICP, I think this is going to be a great one for the next bull market. Anyways, all right. CADA is about to blow. CADA, you mean Cadena? KDA, is that what you're talking about? Algorand is pumping too. I think you're talking about Cadena, JP. Cadena is not doing too bad. What else? Algorand, Algo's pumping. Algo was kind of dumping for a while, huh? Algo in the last 7 days up 22%. Yep, good to see. Almost 1.2 billion market cap. Yeah. Chris DeMeo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right, I am going to go ahead and retire an hour and 50 minutes worth of chat. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I will do a chat probably either on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's hard to kind of put all of this information back together in just a short period of 2 days. So I might do a chat on Wednesday and then another chat on Saturday. We'll have to see. Let me put it together, see what I can do over the next 2 days. I do need to try to take a day off here. I don't know when the last time I actually didn't touch my computer for a day. Maybe it's been a while, quite some time since I was sick maybe. But I love you all. Thank you for being here. I wish you all a great rest of your Sunday into the next week. I hope you have a blessed week. And thank you for spending this time with me. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be able to share this news and information and grow with you all together. Just wanted to give a shout out to all of you and your time. I love you all. Thank you so much. And you guys have a good one.